Welcome to the final Global Observatory wrap-up. It's been a roller coaster 2 weeks. We came into these Copenhagen climate negotiations with high expectations, with NGOs lined up with government leaders saying we can get this done, we can reach the targets that the science requires, and yet key sticking points prevented us from getting where everyone hoped we might go. However, we have a final deal that provides a framework for action to take place immediately. We have a political agreement that includes maintaining our greenhouse gas emission levels down to a maximum of 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. In 2015, that target will be reviewed to see if the science indicates that we need to move more urgently and limit that to 1.5 degrees Celsius. In addition, we have an agreement of financing for the deployment of clean technologies and for support for protecting the most vulnerable countries from the impacts of climate change. Those numbers are $30 billion between 2010 and 2012 and up to $100 billion by 2020. Significant financial resources on the table that are included in this political agreement. A key issue for the United States going into these talks was to ensure that we were going to be able to verify efforts being taken to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, that what countries said they were doing was actually taking place. That was included in the final agreement as well. Now, an area of common agreement for many governments was a desire to protect the world's standing forests from deforestation. They play a significant role in climate change, making up between 15% and 18% of greenhouse gas emissions around the world. This agreement also includes provisions for protecting standing forests. This is a way to quickly and relatively in a low-cost way address climate change. President Obama personally played a critical role in reaching this final deal. Word is that he interrupted a separate meeting of Chinese, Indian, and South African negotiators on Friday, demanding that they have a joint discussion, and that led to the new talks and the new terms of the deal. Then it took all night to discuss the terms of this deal, to gain support for this deal from the vast majority of the rest of the countries. There were still a handful of countries, however, that maintained their opposition to this agreement. They felt that the process was not democratic. It had been started by just a handful of countries and then pushed out to the rest of the world. Those countries were Sudan, Venezuela, and Bolivia. In addition, Saudi Arabia and Tuvalu voiced their concerns about the process, but ultimately did support the final agreement. Now, the next steps for this agreement are countries have to put forward their specific targets and timetables of by when they will reduce their greenhouse gas emissions, by how much, by the end of January of 2010. Very short time frame for countries to come forward and make those commitments. The idea is that this political accord, although not legally binding, allows us to immediately begin to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, allows countries to begin to take those steps individually as well as collaboratively to finance this transition and to begin to reduce emissions immediately. Some people feel that this agreement does not go far enough, fast enough. Others feel that perhaps it goes too far. The Global Observatory will be reporting on what's happening and why it matters. Thank you for joining us here in Copenhagen.